We have standing by Dr. Carlos Madrid, who is the Director of Research over at the Micronesian Area Research Center, and he's joined by the MARC co-chair, Miss Lavon Guerrero Menel. We're talking Marianas History Conference, which, was it in the NMI last year?
Yes, buenas and half a day. Yes, it was in Guam in 2019, and this 2021, we're excited to bring it back.
So 2020, there was no Marianas History Conference?
No, it normally takes place every other year.
Oh, I see.
Every 2 years.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so what is the theme for this year, guys?
Lavon, you want to go in?
Sure. The overarching theme is one archipelago, many stories, but this year's theme is navigating 500 years of cross-cultural contact. So since the time of Magellan to now.
Yes, it's also because the commemoration this year of the 500 years of the first time there was a contact with Westerners from our islands with the rest of the world. And we thought it was a good opportunity to discuss with multiple themes, no? There not only history, but also how history intersects with archaeology, with politics, with environmental resources, traditional seafaring, language, etc. So we got a great turnout of people.
Nice. Is this a live in-person kind of thing, or is it in the Zoom?
This will be it'll be a virtual conference, and because we've gone virtual, we were able to attract a larger audience with a broader spectrum. This year, I mean, as of yesterday's count, we actually maxed our 500 capacity. And so we're very excited about that. We have 65 presenters and 500 participants so far.
Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit about cross contact. As you mentioned, this is the 500th anniversary of the arrival of the Spanish, right, to Guam. And I know that Dr. Underwood was working on something with, I want to say, Maget Bavacqua about commemorating. It was 500 sales or something. I'm sorry, there was a whole pandemic. Where are we with that? Is that connected to what you guys are doing?
Well, yes, in a way, yes, we're all part of the same Comisión Historiata, which is in charge of coordinating this commemoration. That is somehow a platform to discuss things of contemporary generations and address them through the lenses of history and with the perspective of 500 years. Indeed, Dr. Underwood and Dr. Bevacqua have been very active in the Commission, along many others, and it's going to be aligned with the arrival of I think there's a Spanish training ship, El Cano, that is going around the world and is making a special stopover in Guam on the week after the conference. So somehow the theme, Chris, that you're asking, the 500 years of cross-cultural contact, somehow includes all the aspects that have to do with our past, from the colonial times during the Spanish times, the U.S. Navy times, then World War II, contemporary issues, etc.
All right, let me just ask, because I feel like anytime we have cross-cultural contact, it never ends well for the Chamorro people. But which group would you say has had the most of an impact on the island of Guam?
Well, Lavon, if you want to go for that.
No, Carlos, I defer to you.
Well, if I was to say, Chris, depending on what angle will you take, if you go, for example, for language or gastronomy or food, because I would say the Spanish, no, in the colonial setting, no, we can think of the Spanish, the Japanese, or the American government. So I will say probably, but if you go from the military point of view, but probably I will say the Japanese. So it depends on the angle, but we get what you mean, that yes, the cross-cultural contact, the islands have been they suffered colonialism for a long time. And this conference that is not only about Guam, it's about the whole of the Mariana Islands. No? Will include the German period as well in the Northern Mariana Islands.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a lot of things to discuss and of many different levels and very sensitive matters. That's why it's very important for us to include not only scholars and academics, but also community members and cultural agents that are addressing these issues from other angles. No? And this get-together of all of us, it somehow creates and reveals the synergies on how are people understanding certain aspects of the past, or how can they inform other aspects of our present, no? Like cultural tourism or cultural industries, environmental resources, how the sustainability of those, etc.
Levon, can you kind of run through who are some of the highlighted presenters during this conference? And what will they be presenting on?
For the first time, Chris, we're going to have an all-Chamorro panel, and that's going to be led by the former Senator Hope Cristobal. So it's the commission, the language commission. They'll have their own panel that'll be all in Chamorro. We also have the Guam Preservation Trust. They will have their own panel, and it's called Economic y Historiata. Listen to our stories. That's another interesting panel as well. We have several presentations. We have one coming in from Tinian. This will be Don Farrell. He will be talking about Camp Chulu, the sugarcane camp. And we have several folks. We have Dr. Rafael Rodriguez Ponga. He will be talking about place names.
Oh, that's cool. For what the whole?
Yeah. So we have, and then we have Frank Quimby. He's coming into, and I forget what his subject matter is. I think it is post or is the late Spanish categories where his presentation will lie. So we've got a variety of presentations. One that I would find that I think would be very interesting is one by Brett Tibbetts. He's going to do his on the whale song and how the weather, the change of climate, the climate changes is impacting the whales and their direction as it passes through the Marianas. So that's, I find that to be intriguing. So we have them from different aspects, from different age groups. We have a 17-year-old coming in from St. John's talking about militarism. And then we have them as, as old as their mid-80s presenting. So there is a great variety of subject matter. And it just promises to be fun, very educational. And I think it'll be very good. It's going to be a very good conference. We've got a lot of Chamorro diaspora registering for this conference. We've got people from all over the world, actually, from Australia, from Germany, from Spain, and all throughout the U.S.
How do we watch it? Is there a stream, or because I know you said you were full up, but is there any availability for the average Joe or Josefa Cruz to kind of watch any of these discussions?
There has been a discussion, if Dr. Madrid will, there has been a discussion to try and open it up to release the gate valve, if you will, to allow more participation. And the participation is actually, we are not charging for registration at this time. Because of our situation, we've actually opened it up for more participants. So hopefully, sorry, by the time we get into the office, we will know whether or not that we're able to increase our participation.
Yeah. So when are you going to know? Because it doesn't start today.
It starts we're trying to get that I'm sorry, Chris. Yes, as we're just waiting for our conference organizers to let us know, give us the go sign that we can go ahead and announce there will be more opportunities for participation.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, if that happens, Levon, shoot me the link and then we'll promote it on our end any way that we can.
I sure will. I sure will. Thank you, Chris.
Of course. Dr. Carlos, let me ask you this, right? So, you know, big bad Marianas History Conference like this, you would assume, or most people would assume, oh, it's an academics only kind of thing. But what do kind of like entry level history enthusiasts, what do they have to gain from watching a lot of these talks and these presentations? Because I was talking earlier, we're very fortunate now. I feel like in our generation, like the history that we were taught in the school, it comes nowhere near what we know now. So I feel like we're really living in this time where we found out so much about our history, and there's just so much to be proud about. I mean, it's great. It's really cool that my kids have, you know, known things about Chamorro history that they're really genuinely proud of, right? Because I feel like my generation, we spent so much of our time and energy looking outward for whatever type of validation when, you know, all we had to do was kind of just look into ourselves. So that being said, average people, what are they going to get out of this history conference?
Right. No, Chris, you're very right. And we would say that precisely is that interaction between academics and scholars and community members that are interested in history and are practicing culture and are asking themselves the same questions that the scholars are asking. And so the interaction in between the two, it's where the knowledge is generated and the debate and the exchange of ideas. So both groups, not only they're not separated from one another, but they actually look for one another's perspectives, opinions, angles, and also even methodologies. In fact, we have presenters, as Ms. Lavan was saying, from community groups and community advocates that are going to be presenting and sharing their thoughts. It's true that now we're moving, fortunately, we moved into a trend in which we can look with comfort and pride inland and to our own indigenous culture and explore all that is to be proud of and to promote. So we can say somehow that this is now is the 5th Marianas History Conference, and we want to believe that we are in the same path of our predecessors in these conferences, in providing a platform for these kind of exchanges to take place.
Nice. Levon, anything in closing you want to throw out here? You know, just to put you on the spot one last time, Joe.
I'm so sorry. Well, we hope that to see more people out there, and joining us, and we hope that this conference excites people to come out and to learn more about our history, of the history of the Marianas.
Right on. Dr. Madrid, thank you for your time. Anything in closing you want to put out here?
No, thank you, Chris, and your team for providing this opportunity to promote the Marianas History Conference. If we can accommodate more participants, we're going to send you the link. Thank you for offering this opportunity.
Of course. And then, hey, I know that we're still up in the air about whether or not it'll be streamed live, but how about after the fact? Are you planning to kind of cut up a lot of these discussions and presentations and put them out on maybe like social media or whatever?
That's the idea. It's all, of course, we have to respect the will of the presenters and make sure that they're comfortable with that. But we're working on that line. It will not be streamed live because the ones who can access it is the ones who registered for it. But as soon as we can upload some of, as you know, Chris, most of the presentations of the Marianas History Conference are on the Wikipedia site.
Right.
It's a reliable partner of MARC, the American Indian Research Center, and we're planning to do the same both for the written presentations and, if the presenters allow it, also for the recorded sessions.
Right on. Yeah, shout out Guampedia. It's a great resource. Like I was saying back in the day, you couldn't really Google, you know, like, for example, who wrote what Chamorro song. And now if you do, usually Guampedia is like right up there. So props to them. Doc, Ms. Levon, thank you guys for your time this morning.
Thank you, Chris, for allowing me to be on your show.
Of course. Break a leg.
Thank you, Chris. See you, Mase.
Yes, algo más. okay, Miss Levon. There you go. I don't know. What do you say, Jay, before a history conference? Is break a leg and is it relevant or
like what would you say to really get like history buffs like really jazzed about something?
Well, really jazzed.
No,
hey, all your history buffs, we get you jazzed up about this.
Again, you have a bunch of historians, and you can say, "Okay, everybody, here's the conference. It's time."
Oh, I get it.
No,